Today, we are doing a tier list on things that you should never say to a girl. So if you look at this tier list, you'll see that there isn't a tier for this is safe to say. And the reason why is because damn near there isn't anything on this list that is safe to say. At best, you should only say this if this is your partner. But yeah, we are going to be ranking this is alright only if she's your partner, up until like genuinely you're corny as fuck if you say this shit. So make sure y'all hit that subscribe button and let's get right into this. So first thing we have is I love you. Okay, so we got our first like only if she is your partner one. You can say this, like that's fine if this is your partner, but if you're saying this to a girl you just met, or you're saying this to like, I don't know, one of your close friends who you really love, then what you are doing is you're putting yourself in a very vulnerable position. Just don't say this shit unless y'all have some established dynamic basically. But yes, this is probably one of the safest things on this list that you can actually do. Next up is you've changed me. So I think a lot of girls have this savior complex where they think they can change somebody. Let's be honest, bro. You really can't change nobody, bro. You are what you are at the end of the day. So if you go to a girl saying you've changed me, you're giving her this like false sense that she's able to, change anybody she wants. So I'm gonna put this in don't say this shit because it's not the worst thing to say, but at the same time, like I really would not say this shit. Next up is double texting. Okay, I feel like double texting is like kind of normal. Like people double text. It's still not good, but people will double text and they will still manage to like clutch the dynamic. I'm gonna put this in that might have just killed your chances. Folks, bro, don't double text. Like if you double text, bro, you come off as if you're desperate, as if you need her to respond. Like just don't double text, bro. Next up is I'll wait for you. Yeah, don't ever say this shit. If you need to realize that you are your own person. So if you're over here telling a girl that you'll wait for her, you're showing that you have lack of ability to move forward with your own life. So do not ever say this shit and don't ever do this. Next up is do you maybe want to go on a date sometime? Keywords, maybe. The way you're saying it is you sound so hesitant, like you're fucking scared. Genuinely, if you say this, she is gonna think you're a bitch. And she's gonna think like I don't know, you're just being a little bitch or some shit. But please, bro, don't say this. There's a better way you can ask. You should say something like, we should hang out sometime. Or even, can we hang out sometime? But don't say, do you maybe want to go? Like, you're giving off this impression that you're like half committed, but you also don't want to emotionally invest because you're scared of rejection. Like, that's what you literally sound like, bro. She's gonna pick up on that shit fast. She's gonna be like, yeah, no. Next up is, why are you taking so long to reply? Like, genuinely, bro, you are corny. You don't ever say this, bro. If you are this guy who has hella other options, bro, you are not gonna care about whether one girl replies. Like, let's keep it a buck. So if you say this, she is gonna immediately clock your shit and just be more distant. You're not making it any better. She's gonna maybe take even longer to reply. Next up is yelling at her. I think yelling at her is like, if you have to get in your emotions and yell at her, bro, then you genuinely like, she is gonna respect you less. So don't ever yell at your girl, bro. If you have to communicate a disagreement with her, bro, you gotta communicate that shit with words, bro. Don't be screaming at her. You come off as emotional, bro, and she is gonna not take you seriously, bro. She might even clown your ass, bro. Don't yell at her. There is a much better way to handle that, bro. But when you're yelling at her, you're not showing masculinity. Next up is, why did you leave me on red? This is the most like, I don't want to use this word, but this is the most like beta male shit you could fucking say. Like, if you say, why did you leave me on red? That's even worse than, why are you taking so long to reply? Because like, if she leaves you on red, like just close the fucking convo and just don't text her back. Why do you gotta get some kind of closure out of that? Like, and you just making the vibe awkward too. Like, don't say this. Next up is apologizing. I think apologizing is okay only if you are in the wrong. If you are if she's forcing you to apologize for whatever reason, then I don't think this is ideal. However, if this is your partner, it's probably for the best that you get on good terms with her. So for whatever reason, bro, just try to make it right with your partner. However, if this is a girl that isn't even your partner or whatever, then just don't do this. Like, it's that simple. Next up is I don't want to lose you, bro. Just don't ever say this shit. You show that you can't live without her. Like, if she is that dependable to where if you lose her, you're going to break down, she is going to immediately clock your shit and be like, why should I stay with this nigga? She's going to start to ask questions like, what can this man provide for me? Why does he need me so much? Like, does he not have other options? Why should I be with him? If you are over here saying, I don't want to lose you, like, genuinely, you are corny, bro. That's some shit you would see in the movies. Next up is compliment. This is fine only if it's your partner. But then again, you gotta optimize, like, how many compliments you give her. Like, putting a girl on a pedestal is fine if it's only your partner. But then again, like, make sure they earn that shit. Don't just put people on pedestals because you like them. That is, like, a man's biggest mistake. Because now when you put her on a pedestal, you're making her ego rise, like, so high to the point where she is gonna think that she is better than you. Then she is gonna think she is in control of the relationship, and that's just not optimal. So only give her compliments when it's deserved. Next up is edgy jokes. I just think edgy jokes, it's a little bit forced. Like, there is an art to being edgy, but at the same time, like, if you're telling edgy jokes to a girl, she is gonna think you are, like, childish or something. I don't think it's the worst thing, because I think as a man, you should probably have some type of edge to you, because especially like if you're attractive, if you have some edge to you, that could work in your favor. But if you're saying like edgy jokes, I feel like the majority of girls, they don't find that shit funny. Next up is I thought we had something. I'm not gonna put this in like genuinely you're corny, because I can understand how some of y'all feel, but just don't ever say this shit, bro. You have just basically implied to her that you don't have any other options, and what you just did is you made a fool of yourself. Now she is gonna respect you a lot less. So just please don't ever say this shit. Next up is, wait, no, I'm not a player. Son, you are a player, you just don't know how to play the game. I'm gonna put this in this might have just killed your chances. I mean, at the end of the day, like, it's not the worst thing, but just don't say this. You always want to keep her guessing. You want to come off as unpredictable. If she knows that you get no girls, then you have just killed all mystery in her. Let her, you don't need to tell girls everything. Like, y'all gotta realize that. Next up is how do you feel about me? I think this is the only thing on this list that is like this is probably the safest thing you can say to one of your non-partners, but then again, I wouldn't even say this. Here's what I'm gonna say. When a guy and a girl are like talking or whatever, you always want the girl to ask the golden question, what are we? If you have to initiate that, then I really think that you may have just killed your chances. I mean, at the end of the day, like, if you're asking this question, you're gonna find out regardless. But if you are over here asking her, how do you feel about me? What's gonna happen is she might say yes. However, you like dramatically increase your odds if you let her ask that question. When she asked the golden question, you're in the door. But if you're asking her that, then it's just weird. I'm gonna say this might have just killed your chances. Next up is you're the only girl I'm talking to. Yeah, just try not to, like I just said, try not to tell girls like everything about your life and every flaw. Like, if she is the only girl you are talking to, there's nothing wrong with that. But there's some details that you just should not spill to everybody. You get what I'm saying? Next up is opening up to her. I'm gonna give y'all a little lesson, okay? Girls will say open up to me, but you just never want to do that, bro. You never want to open up. The reason why is because some girls, they will take advantage of that. The second you open up to her, she will either think of you as weaker, she'll think of you as more vulnerable, or she may use that against you in an argument. Okay? Now, I'm not saying as a guy that you should neglect your mental health. No, absolutely not. The first thing you should do is open up to God, first of all. If you not on that type of timing, open up to a therapist. Open up to ChatGPT. Shit, bro. Open up to your homeboys. But never, 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 never open up to a girl because she said that. Girls will say this, but the second you do that, they will use that against you. I've made this mistake in the past. And I'm able to say this. Just don't say this shit. I mean, it's not the worst thing if you open up to her, but you have just put yourself in a very like vulnerable position for a couple seconds. So just don't do this. And I mean, this kind of goes into the same point, like telling her your insecurities. Like the second you do that, like she can just use that shit against you. So, you know, proceed with caution, bro. But if you gonna open up to her in a more masculine way. Instead of saying, oh, I've just been down on myself and I feel like I'm a loser. Instead of saying that, you know, I've been down on myself, but you know what? I'm gonna rise back up, bro. I'm gonna take over 2026. Like, say something where you sound like you're able to come up with solutions. But don't fucking open up to her in a sympathy, sad way because that is gonna give her this. It's gonna give her a turn off. She's gonna be like, "Why is the guy who's supposed to be protecting me opening up in a vulnerable way?" She don't want to be protecting you, so you just gotta be careful, like who you let see your emotions. Next up is where my hug at. This is a meme, literally, bro. Like you are corny as fuck. Matter of fact, this goes above all these things, bro. If you say this, like you are genuinely corny, bro. You need to watch my videos and you need to subscribe and like the video so you can catch on to all these things because you gotta be fried. I'm not even gonna lie. Next up is I don't know, you decide. I'm not gonna lie, I've made this mistake in the past, but only because I just don't care like where we go. But if a girl says I don't know, you decide, you need to pick a spot. She is not trying to arrange the details, bro. That is your job. So if she says I don't know, you decide, just pick a spot, bro. But yeah, that might have just killed. It's not gonna kill your chances, but it's like it's not ideal to say that. Next up is do you want to be my girlfriend? I just explained this, but I think saying how do you feel about me is like slightly better than do you want to be my girlfriend. But still, let her ask the question. Let her ask what are we? Don't fucking ask her do you want to be my girlfriend because that's just not ideal. Next up is I think I like you. Bro, I'm not gonna lie, if you say this, like you are genuinely corny. I don't know anybody who has said this. And last we have I miss you. If this is your partner, I think it's safe, but at the bare minimum, at least let her think that you can live on your own. So I wouldn't even say this to my partner. I'm gonna just say don't say this shit because if you say this, you're giving off this vibe that you just need her. And I know it's probably not that deep, but still, just don't say it. But yes, that is my tier list on things to never say to a girl. Make sure y'all comment, like, and subscribe. I'm gonna see y'all in the next video. Peace.